Welcome to the appendix for the big comparison of 7 Turkish bows. This is because I have received feedback from Simsek family after the release of part 3. This is mainly because the lightweighted short Sipahi Plus doesn't like too heavy arrows. So indeed the recommendation to use an arrow weight between 8 and 9 grain per pound is the range where the arrow weight should be. So not heavier. So this, as they say, the bow doesn't generate enough power to accelerate a heavy arrow in a good way. It flies, but it's not so healthy for the bow indeed. This is in contrast to other technologies, and so I want to take a reference to that. If I shoot the Simsek bow again with a lighter arrow, then I need to do it with the others as well, because I also have used heavier arrows than required. To give you an overview again of the weights of the bows, the lightweightest bow is the Simsek short Sipahi Plus with 290 gram. Next one is the Keskin with 300 gram. Then the Yuwen with 360 gram. We have then the Biocomposite and the Monolith bows with 410 gram, and the Hornbow is the heaviest with 460 gram. I have received more or less from all bowyers. I didn't check with Lukasz, but I know that the bow is fine with 8.5 to 9 grain per pound. The Yuwen bow is good with 9 grain per pound. The Keskin I estimate the same. The Biocomposite can be shot, the Turkish version, of 8 to 8.5 grain per pound. And with the Hornbow I have an original arrow from the bowyer that I will just measure, and then we have the grain per pound as well. And I need to take the strength of the bows today again, because we have a slightly different climate than 2 days before. Today it's more humid. All right, let's start. All right, the arrow weight for the Hornbow is, this is the reference, so this arrow has 314.6 grain, and this is more or less similar to this one, 315 grain, and since this arrow is much shorter, I will use this one for the test. This is the same arrow I will use for the Simsek bow. We're taking the strength of today. I always measure at the belly, we are here, 37.47. Biocomposite, 37.4. The Keskin, 37.84. The Yuwen, 37.1. The Monolith, the Nawalny, 37.86, and the short Sipahi from Simsek, 38.66. All right, so after taking the strength of today, I found out the following. I can use the 315 grain carbon arrows for the Hornbow, which results in a grain per pound of 8.42. Then it will be used for the Biocomposite, resulting in a grain per pound of 8.42. Then I will use it for the Simsek short Sipahi, providing a grain per pound of 8.14. The Keskin will be tested with the wooden arrows, and I'm sorry, the wooden arrows are always a bit different. So I have two that are close together. The one has 341 and the other 354 grain. And so I have taken the average of the two, because we will also do an average of the two measurements. Means that we have, with these arrows for the Keskin, 9.18 grain per pound, for the Yuwen 9.36 grain per pound, and for the Monolith 9.18. So this is the closest I can get with the arrows I have. And yeah, you notice 2 days later we have different poundages, so it's nearly impossible to have all matching arrows available. So this is the closest I can get. So then let's test. Just in case you wonder why I do not retest the fiberglass bow from Abu Salman, that poundage was already fine, and fiberglass bows are usually not known for their maximum speed, so there's no sense to retest this bow again. So the speed of this is fine. Alright, first I will shoot the Hornbow with the 315 grain arrows, and just in case you wonder why I shoot then this way, this is because of the sun angle. Otherwise the photocells do not measure correctly. $179. $181. The Biocomposite with 315 grain. $171. $179. The Keskin Tunc-Ay with the wooden arrows, 341 and 354 grain. First one is the heavy one. $163. $167. The Yuwen Turkish V3 with the wooden arrows, first with the heavy one. $178. $180. The Monolith Nawalny with the wooden arrows, first the heavy arrow. $170. $175. Now the Simsek short Sipahi Plus with the 315 grain arrows. $172. $171. All right, evaluation. So today I have tried to get the best arrow for each bow according to the strength that we have today. Today it's a bit more humid and very warm, and so the bows were a little less strong than 2 days before. And I've calculated the grain per pound for each bow, and the arrows were matching relatively good. And so I summarize again what speed we had in average. So for the Hornbow it was 180, for the Biocomposite 175, for the Tunc-Ay it was 164, for the Yuwen it was 179, For the Monolith 172.5 and for the Sipahi 171.5. So these two are very close. Has it an effect on the overall evaluation? A little, yes. So chapter 2 was before dominated by the Hornbow, and it's the remains with 180 feet per second. No one was faster. The second place was before between Nawalny and Yuwen, and Nawalny is now dropped from that second place, and Yuwen remained with 179 feet per second. Third place was before the Keskin, and now it's the Biocomposite by Grózer with 175 feet per second. Overall, it has an effect as well, because we have now 3 bows that have reached 8 points, and these are the Hornbow, the laminated Tunc-Ay, and the Turkish V3. 6 points have reached, and this is then the second place, Simsek and Nawalny, and 5 points by Grózer. And so these are the first 3, and there's only one left, and this is the hybrid who has reached 3 points. But yeah, fiberglass bows are not known for their maximum speed, so there are no speed monsters. But don't worry. But what it means is whatever you measure, the one day can be different the next day. Yeah. As I said already in part 3, you can choose any of these bows, they are all awesome. And if it comes to speed, as I mentioned before, you choose another arrow, you draw a little further, and then you have more speed. And I think that concludes it very well. It was the proof of what I've said already. So you can choose all of them. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching. Wish you a great time. And they're all awesome. You can choose all of them. Have fun. And thanks to all the bowyers. It was a great pleasure to do this comparison video series. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.